Oh, hi there. Just thought I'd just talk on roughly how our system actually works. So basically, just a recap on this, on how our system really works. It's very clever how they pulled this off. You know. But basically, you know how we go back to John D. Rockefeller. I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers. So this basically would mean that they don't want geniuses that could think outside the box, like Nikola Tesla, and could maybe be a threat to their system that they're trying to set up. You know, like giving free energy to the world. They also don't want people figuring out what the governments are up to as well. This is another technique. Basically, what it means is to keep people thinking inside of the system, to only think about what they've been told to think about. Okay, that's how they control it. Techniques to stop people thinking outside of the system is to teach them to parrot controlled information through maybe quiz shows, to education, to get good marks maybe, and then give them lots of amusements after their education or their work positions. The media education is controlled information that limits the public. We definitely know it's a propaganda technique. The public are not able to think beyond the system, which makes them limited. They only think inside of the system. Like they maybe become logical with maybe sports channels, like maybe the football, or they become logical in their thinking ability when it comes to maybe cooking shows, maybe, or whatever it is that the person's into. All of this is information which is limiting the public to not go beyond it. I think it's a good technique though, because another technique to help stop anarchy from taking place is to give the bad people dangerous sports to stop boredom from happening, so they don't go into anarchy. That's another technique. Bertrand Russell talks about that. Right, so in a sense, they do need to control the public, right? And they've got good reasons to control the public, to keep them limited. Okay, they don't want people that could think outside of the system, that could maybe be a threat to their system. Right, that's what it's to do with. It's to keep the public at a safe distance from the governments, while they plan the fate of humanity to destroy the majority of the world's population. Eventually, that's what they're going to want to do, you see, so they will have less people to control. You know, that's what the idea is. So they don't want people to effectively discover the true selves either, but to lock humanity into consumerist materialism. Zbigniew talked about that, Brzezinski. So it's another technique to help rid of individual self-worth from the public. Yeah. So, and eventually what they're going to have to use is to set them, after dividing the masses, like breaking up families, for example, is a technique to do that. It's really sick. These people are so sick, you know. To break up families through techniques by encouraging fornication, a fornicating culture, so there'll be more lust in the world and less love in the world. If they're just lust can eventually turn into hate eventually, or hate can take over, and people can start killing each other because there's no love there. You see, you know, lust and love, they're not the same. You see, that's how sick everything is. So that they make our society become a lustful society in newspapers and magazines and TV, films. It's really sick. And they teach the public how to be selfish through the media. It's horrible, you know. But the media is immoral, you see, because they want the public to be immoral, because they're setting everybody up psychologically, you know, by corrupting the masses. Because what they eventually want to do, because the masses have become more emotional than they are logical, so they're only logical when it comes to their work positions, usually. That's usually what the case is, or hobbies, whatever it is. But they become more emotional when it comes outside of that. Maybe in the world of amusements, maybe, where the propaganda can be used through amusements like TV, etc., the news, whatever it is, to play around with people's heads and set everybody up against each other. When they divide the masses, to cause the masses to kill each other, because the Rothschilds talked about that, because of economic, political, and social and other issues. So it could be an economic crisis that causes people to kill each other, a political crisis. A social crisis could be race hate, for example. Things like maybe program the black people to attack the white people, for example. That would be another method of a social cataclysm, because the Albert Pike, the Luciferian, planned on having a social cataclysm as well as having World War III. So this is why we have the propaganda computer games of people killing each other in the streets as well. You actually find that people trying to kill each other for their resources in computer games now, for the millennials, because I think it's maybe it's the millennials they're setting up for a social cataclysm. Maybe it's the next generation after me, where the public kill each other for the Antichrist to come around. That's why we have the martial law speech talking about terrorist problems and body disposal units for dead bodies. And then you have in the FEMA camps, and then you have FEMA coffins in the millions, by the way, and millions of body bags set up in America, like they're waiting for something to happen, you know. Divide the masses against each other in opposing camps, as the Rothschilds talked about. But they won't tell the public any of this information because it's got to be secret, hasn't it? Because of these Freemasons and all that. Until someone leaked out like a whistleblower and shows us what they're up to. And now it starts to make sense why they have all those coffins for. And why they're programming the masses through media. And why they're teaching fornication. So the public can't bond with each other properly because they're too busy being entertained by each other. You see? Because that's what the idea is, isn't it? Yeah, because they want to mess up the public. So there'll be more lust in the world than there will be love. If there's no love in the world, hate can get in, and people will start killing each other, which is what they want. They're setting everybody up psychologically. I know how the system works now. I didn't see it before, but after looking at all the evidence I looked at, that's why I got Zbigniew Brzezinski talking about, I can't wait to see the new cities being built on the ashes of the public because of the coming war and the coming purge. So he's actually got purge and war. The purge is really to do with the public killing each other. Remember that movie, The Purge? Yeah. They're psychologically setting everybody up for a bad time in the future. Anyway, that's all I have time for, and bye for now.